Hi everyone, today I'm doing a potato, chicken and leek pie, and it's for Year 10 hospitality. So I've already done some preparation in getting ready for this, because that's what you've got to do at home as well. So the first thing it says is to have your pot ready on with some oil, and we're going to cook off some potatoes and leeks. Now leeks are a really interesting vegetable. They look like this, but we're not going to use this part. We're going to get rid of that. And we're not using this part at the end. We're going to get rid of that. Now, the other thing about leeks is they're full of sand because they're actually grown in the sand. So we're going to cut them in half and you're going to wash them. And I've already done that. Okay, so you've got to make sure that the sand is out of here. This is really clean, this one. Then we're going to cut them up. Now, keeping in mind, when you cut things, you want things to be the same size because it's going to cook at the same time, right? So the one, I've already cut one up, and I've cut each of these into 3, and then I'm going to just quickly cut that up. Now, I'm not as good as Mr. Solomon cutting, but you know what? I get there. Still cut, still getting there. So I'm just cutting, I'm making sure it's the same size. It's really important, and I'm going to get this leek in, and I want it to start to cook down. I don't want it to colour, I just want it to cook right down so that it's almost clear. It gets like translucent. Then I'm going to put my potatoes in there. Now this recipe calls for a cooked chicken, so you could go and get a barbecue chook from Red Rooster. Say hello to one of my sons that works there. Or you could go and get it from IGA or Woolworths. You could cook your own. I've actually cooked some thighs beforehand. We're going to pop this straight into my olive oil. I want it to get nice and hot and start to cook down. I'm going to put my other parts in as well. So here I've got some leeks and potatoes that I've cut up a little bit earlier just to keep the time down. And I'm going to cook that down. Now I'm going to use a wooden spoon to mix that round with, because the metal spoons in pans on the stove get hot, as you know. So I'm going to mix that around a little bit, coat it all with a little bit of olive oil so it starts to cook down. Okay, excellent. So now I've got some potatoes in there. The recipe says for, 3 potatoes. So I've already cut 2 of them up. Keeping in mind, again, you want to keep them the same size. So the other potatoes were bigger, so I cut them into 3 and then cut them down. So these ones are smaller. I'm going to cut this down so it's the same size as the others. Okay. So this is this size. That's going to cook a lot faster than if I put something in this size or if I put something in this size to my pie, okay? I want it to cook at the same time. Put that in there. Give it another bit of a stir. So again, the ingredients that I'm cooking off in here, because in the pie, they take the longest. So I need to cook them down a little bit. I'm going to add everything together and then I'm going to put it in the oven. It's going to finish cooking in the oven for about 20 to 30 minutes. Okay. So I'm just going to check my recipe. Yes, it is on my phone. So it says add the potatoes and leek. Oh, I forgot to tell you, you have to turn your oven on. It says to 220 degrees. I've got it on. It is ready to go. I want it to be at that temperature when I put the pie in. The reason being is I'm using pastry, and the pastry has to go into the oven when it's nice and hot. Especially puff pastry, it'll like rise up and it'll crisp on the top and it'll be fantastic. Okay, so get that oven on. Heat the oil, which I've done. I've added my leeks and potatoes. Now it says to cook it down for 3 minutes. That's just to cook it down and give it some colour for those potatoes and to make those leeks translucent, okay? Then I'm going to sprinkle some flour over it. Okay, got my flour ready here. So when I put the flour over it, it's going to coat all that leeks and the potatoes. It's going to kind of make it ready so that when I add liquid to it, that flour will make that liquid into like a gravy, so it'll be nice and thick, saucy pie. minutes. It is on high. Just got to give it some time and get that down. What else have I got here? Done that. Get that out of my way. Oh, puff pastry. I've actually got it out of the freezer. It's really difficult to work with pastry if it's straight out of the freezer and it's frozen. So I've already got mine sitting out here and it's ready to go. I've got all my other ingredients ready to go, and this is the size of the pie dish that I'm using today. Okay, so I'm going to put my mixture in here. I'm going to put my pie top in the top. I've got my chicken here already cut and ready to go. Again, I've tried to keep that similar size, just, you know, for texture of it as well. So my potatoes and my chicken are similar size. So let's get moving with this. It's starting to cook off, it's pretty good. I'm going to add my flour to this mix. Get out of the way. So if you've made a roux before, like you've made a white sauce, if you've made a roux, then you'll know that you're kind of making that sort of base. So similar to a roux for a white sauce. Okay. It says remove from the heat. We're going to add the liquid. I'm going to add a little bit at a time. I've got 1.5 cups here of chicken stock. I'm using chicken stock, why? Because I've got chicken. It's a chicken recipe. It's actually really hot, that bit. So I'm adding a little bit. I don't want to add it all at once because it'll go all boogie, go lumpy. Just like when I'm making a roux with a white sauce, I'm adding a little bit of time and I'm making sure that it's stirred through, mixed in. Starting to look exactly like white sauce. Did you know that, Mrs. Hamilton?
It does. It smells like white sauce.
I'll show you in a minute. So I'm adding, yeah, it takes a little bit of time, but it's worth the effort. Don't rush it. Okay? There we go, that's my last bit. A little bit. So at this stage, don't panic. Your potatoes are not cooked. They will cook in the oven. That's why you cut them nice and small, so they will cook in the oven. So, just going to give you a bit of a look. If you can see here, oh, this thing keeps turning around. So see how it's like white? I don't know if you can see it, but it's white. It looks like a white sauce, and I've tried to make sure there's no lumps from that flour in there. Okay, so now I'm going to add my other ingredients because I'm nearly done. This is nearly over. Got my chicken, so I'm going to add that in. All those juices as well, so I like to cook my own chicken. And I've got some cheese too. Now, Mr. Hall was up here earlier and he said he does his with some cream too. So I've got some cheese. You can tell I'm not a TV chef. I did that pouring towards me, not away from me, so you can see it. This is looking like a really nice pie mixture. Now, what's the one thing that we're missing? Oh, do we need cream? Put a little tab in, couldn't we? Thanks, Miss Whip. Look at that, looks good.
Looks delicious.
So, I'm just going to add a little bit of creaminess to it. One thing. Master Chef says it, kitchen rules says it, you've got to put some seasoning. Where's your seasoning? Okay? Pretty sure Mr. Hamilton says it. Put a bit of pepper. I like ground pepper as well. Put a bit of salt. If you've bought a cooked chook, it's probably got salt, you know, in it. It's got the seasoning on the outside. But I didn't buy a cooked chook, so I've got to make sure I add that. And those leeks and the potatoes particularly like salt. Okay, so I'll soak it up. Make it really yummy. So I don't know if you can see this, but it looks really good. Okay, so I've got my dish here. You could spray it with a little bit of spray if you didn't want it to stick it. Okay, so I'm going to, here it is. I wonder if I can do this so you can see. So can you see the sauce going in? Looks really yummy, nice and chunky, but again, same size. Things are all similar size, similar cooking time. Got to get all those last bits out, they're the best bits. Done. Right, up to my pastry. Really easy now. Here's my piece of pastry. I'm just going to lay it on top. It's not very hard. Make sure you take the blue paper off. Never tastes the same with the blue paper on. Oh, thanks. Forgot about that. I'm actually going to press down the sides. Oh, it's not sticking. Oh. I wonder if I can tuck it in, make it a bit rustic. I might do that instead. Look like a rustic cuppa. So if you've got like a quiche dish, it's fine. You could do the edges like I was trying to do. But I've got like a rustic pie lid kind of happening here. You could make some nice little leaves out of it. I might try to do this now, around the side. Looks like a country chicken pie now. Now the other thing I'm going to do, that actually looks not too bad. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glaze it. I'm going to put a little bit of egg wash on the top. You could use a milk wash if you wanted, but I like an egg wash. It makes it go really golden. Let's get it on. Then I'm going to get it in my oven. I'm going to cook it for 20 to 30 minutes. That top's going to come up really nice and golden. It's going to rise up. All the stuff inside's going to cook and it's going to be awesome. Okay, and then I'm going to take a photo when it's done and post it and you can have a look. So when you cook this, take a photo, okay? Send it to us. We want to see it. We want to be part of your cooking experience. Okay, we miss you. Come and show us your cooks. So, there's my chicken, potato and leek pie. Enjoy. Have fun. See ya.